Hi, welcome to another episode of Port Charles Chat. I'm Mom.
And I'm Brandon.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yes, thank you for joining.
Yes, and Brandon, how are you doing today?
Mom, I'm doing all well. How about yourself?
I'm doing fine, Brandon. Are you ready to talk about this week at General Hospital?
I sure am, are you?
I sure am. All right, this is the week of July 7th through 11th, and the day of recording this is on July the 13th. All right, Brandon, let's talk about Sasha and Daisy. All right, this week, Daisy has disappeared. Sasha's in a panic. Along with Michael, meaning Sasha, someone calls everyone. They come over, they look over the house, and then Daisy mysteriously appears again. And so this has, of course, been now 2 weeks, I guess, of things happening with Daisy. And so the question is, what is happening with Daisy? Who is doing it? Who's kind of torturing Sasha? And then we find out this week that is Willow. Willow has actually been taking the baby. She's been changing the baby's clothes. She's been turning the baby around. So Willow has actually been torturing Sasha. The question now being, is this some sort of personality disorder that Willow has, or is this just Willow not knowing what she is doing, or is Willow just purposely coming in and picking up a baby because her children are now with Michael? All right, my thoughts are that she has some sort of personality disorder. Brandon, what are your thoughts about Sasha, Daisy, and Willow?
Yeah, I definitely think this is quite interesting. I don't. I'm not going to say that Willow is not consciously doing this, but I don't fully think she's in her right mind. Well, I mean, obviously, but especially for this. And a part of my big question is, how has nobody caught her? I mean, it's uh, everyone knows the lovely Vanda she's been appointed by the court.
I know. I'm not quite sure why people haven't caught this yet, or why people, as no one's seen her slip into the Court of Main Mansion, slip out of the Court of Main Mansion. At this point in time, she has no reason to be there because her children aren't there. So I'm not quite sure why no one has caught Willow at this point. Um, like I said, I think it's a personality disorder, and it makes me wonder if that's how they're going to bring in the new character of Erica Slazak, as we know who's coming into General Hospital later. She played Vicky on One Life to Live, and Vicky had this same disorder. She had a personality disorder on the show, so maybe that's a way they're able to bring Vicky in, is to talk about this, or Erica Slazak, depending on which way they're going with it. All right, Brant. Oh, and then also, Sasha speaks to Michael, and Michael is okay with Sasha taking the baby out of the area. Do you think this is a good or bad idea for her?
I'm indifferent. I mean, poor Willow. I mean, poor Sasha. That seems to get every single thing thrown on her. I see. A part of me says that she might actually be fine going away, just because they're showing Daisy a lot, and they don't usually show children a lot on the show.
No, specifically babies. They don't really show them a lot. And so that'll be interesting to see what they decide to do with Sasha. All right. Now we're moving on to another child, but a little older child, and this is Rocco. So this storyline involves Lulu, Brooklyn, Rocco, and Dante. And Rocco has discovered that Britt was a surrogate. Um, Now, surrogate in the sense of the fact that she had him. However, this is not what, of course, Lulu wanted, for Britt to have Rocco. And and I should say to steal her embryo. But anyway, so Rocco finds out that Britt actually is the one who actually had him, and he wants to understand why. And so I did like the way that Lulu did kind of bring in Dante to have this conversation, and that they together talked about it to Rocco. And I like that they kind of did it truthfully. At least it seemed truthfully to me the way they told it. And we did see at the end of Friday's episode where Rocco actually started typing an email to Obrecht and to ask questions about Brit. All right, Brandon, your thoughts.
Yeah, I definitely thought this was so interesting. All things considered, I mean, Rocco's of course stumbling across this information and wants to, know. And I thought it was interesting that his big question was not so much about who this Brit woman is, why does anyone want to have anything to do with her, but rather, would he have existed if it wasn't for Brit?
Yeah, I thought that was really interesting, and I had not thought about that point before. And so I kind of like the way they kind of went at it and how his parents actually answered the question too. And at the same time, I almost forgot about um, Lu- I'm sorry, and I almost forgot about Maxie because Maxie was the one who was supposed to be the surrogate for Lulu. So they're kind of bringing it all back together again. So I thought that was really interesting. All right,
Yeah.
did you have anything else to add, Brand?
Yeah, I mean, I think this could definitely be brought into one of our categories we'll have later, but, they're having this whole conversation about this for Rocco. I mean, should they just go ahead and take care of the Charlotte one now? Because, I mean, isn't this going right into it?
You would think so. You would think so. All right. The next person we have up was Kai and Trina. Kai has finally told Trina that he gave Drew information about Curtis and Jacinda. And so, of course, Trina feels betrayed because, in her eyes, Kai has betrayed her family. Of course, Curtis is doesn't know what to say because Curtis does find out about it, and so this, of course, makes Curtis have to put another article out that he doesn't want to do, and this isn't something else against Drew. So, what were your thoughts about Kai and Trina?
I mean, it was all going to come out sooner or later, but as much as I hate to be like wow, Kai's right on this one, I'm not saying that by any means, but I mean, Kai, for all intents and purposes, as naive as he is following what he thinks is right because he just sees that Curtis is being the one. I mean, Curtis is the one hurting Drew. But I like at least that he's upfront with this. We don't have another 50,000 secrets in months and years for us to debate on this for the bombshell that we've dropped. It's dropped. He owned up to it.
Yep, that's very true. Very true. Then we have Cody. Cody is doing everything he can to become involved with Ava. This is, of course, what Christina wants, and so it's kind of fun to watch Cody and Ava together. Your thoughts about them?
Oh, I mean, I kind of like them together. I do. I will say that I've noticed that Ava has been more of like a smaller character these days. I mean, she's not as prominent and within these storylines. I haven't even heard her mention Avery lately, but nevertheless, she seems fine with Cody. I kind of like them together, but I also like them together for the sake of being together, but also for the sake of it makes Rick jealous, and I find that kind of amusing.
Yeah, I do feel sorry for Molly though because they were leaning this way. Kind of makes me wonder, will they ever lean anyway? And poor Molly, will she ever be involved with anyone? All right. And then we have Emma, Vaughn, and Jocelyn. Jocelyn and Vaughn are acting like they are together, but then they're acting like they're not together. They can't decide which way they're going. And this is, of course, for the sake of Emma, or at least at this point in time, the way they're making it feel. And then Vaughn does not. Vaughn has a conversation with Jocelyn and makes a comment about being in the WSB and his reasons for being in there. He does not relay what they are, but I just find that kind of interesting that he has a little past. Of course, they all have a past on a soap opera, but of course, they're starting to mention his past a little bit. All right, I know we're being really quick with all these, Brandon, but what are your thoughts of the Emma Vaughn Jocelyn connection?
I'm wondering if that last interaction we saw with Vaughn and Jocelyn is really a part of the script. I mean, I, they had spoken quite a bit about trying to con Emma, but for them to break up after like what, not even a single date, that seems like maybe a Jocelyn intervened because that doesn't even seem right.
I know, and it's only because Emma saw them one day kissing, and so they have this need to now act like they are kind of dating and that they're breaking up, so that Emma could kind of get in. But yeah, Not quite sure where they're going with this. I kind of hope that they will eventually bring this professor up again so that we can kind of take care of the storyline. And then poor Gio was probably looking around, kind of, although he's not jealous at this point in time, but I'm sure he's looking at Emma like, oh, geez, what is she doing? All right. All right. Brandon, did I leave out any broad or big storylines for this week?
I think those are pretty much the big ones. I mean, there's a lot of things, of course, happening in Port Charles these days, but I think those are the big ones.
Alrighty. All right, let's talk about our performers of the week. For me, my performer of the week was actually Rocco, and it was Lulu also. Um, I did like that they gave Rocco a storyline. Rocco hasn't had one in a while. I know he did that drunk storyline, but that doesn't equate to how I think he performed this week. So I thought they did a really nice job with Rocco this week. And then Lulu, even though Lulu was in the wrong, and but she did tell the truth. I did like the way Lulu acted this week, and we can't forget about the punch between Lulu and Brooklyn. All right, Brandon, who are your performers of the week?
Yeah, I'm definitely going to have Rocco as my main performer of the week for those reasons that you said. Lose a runner up, but I have a completely different runner up.
Okay, okay, who else do you have?
Yeah, my second runner up, I actually have Trina.
Okay, and why Trina?
I would say this has probably been the strongest, especially at the end of the week. This is probably the strongest that we've seen Trina in a while, in that she's able to sort of be in her own storyline. I think that over these past few weeks, ever since losing Spencer, or these past few months, that Trina's just, I mean, we saw her for the initial part of the grieving process, and
Mhm.
then she just kind of disappeared, and then all of a sudden she's with Kai. They did that little flirtatious thing with her and Gio quite a while ago, but I didn't really see them giving Trina really a storyline with Kai, other than that, Trina's here, Kai is here, they're in a relationship, but now I see her get ownership of her life back.
Yes. Okay, I'll agree with you there. Then we have our amusing scenes of the week. And for me, the ones that there were two that stood out for me. One happened at the police station, and that's with Mac, Molly, in regards to Cody. I thought they were kind of cute with that storyline together, and the way Mac is trying to match up everyone. And then Anna, and this is in regards to Vaughn. When Anna was at the bar and she saw that her granddaughter was there, I liked her interaction with her, and then I liked her interaction with Isaiah also. And so I just thought that was kind of funny. All right, Brandon, what about you for amusing scenes of the week?
Yeah, I definitely fully agree with that. And I don't know, even as brief as it was, which I don't think it even got a conclusion, the Anna and Isaiah thing was, I think, really interesting, and I like their chemistry together. I like
Yeah,
Isaiah's chemistry with everyone.
yeah, so do I. All right. And as for touching scenes of the week, it would have to be Rocco and his parents for me because I really think they did a nice job handling that. And then, of course, like you said, what about Charlotte? Why isn't she there to hear some of this conversation too? And then I like the conversation that Michael had with Sasha in regards to Daisy. So those are my two kind of touching scenes of the week. Do you have anything different?
So, in addition to those, I am going to add Brooklyn, Michael, and Dante, which I think this is the first interaction with new Michael and Dante.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. And remind us, what was that scene about?
So this was Michael defending Brooklyn against Dante in terms of the whole Geo situation, then the Rocco and Lulu situation that was going on. But I thought it was really great that new Michael was able to stand up for Brooklyn. Although uh, aren't Dante and Michael supposedly brothers? I don't think they've met. I mean, this iteration of Michael and Dante, I don't think they've really interacted at all since he's been back.
Yeah, they are supposedly brothers. Not by blood, but they are. They were raised as brothers. So yes, I am surprised that they have not had that let them have as many scenes together as they really need to. As a matter of fact, really, Sonny hasn't had many scenes with Michael either. So it's kind of needed at this point. As for fast forwarding for me it was Trina and Kai again. I'm so sorry, I'm back on them. I fast forwarded them. I know that they had a pivotal storyline with in regards to Portia and not telling, but I mean Portia and and Jacinda, but at the same time, I could have fast forwarded them. All right, Brandon, your choice.
Okay, so for once, I had a fast forward scene, and it's not the one you chose, and this one might surprise you as to what I'm fast forwarding.
Okay, what are you fast forwarding?
I'm fast forwarding Curtis.
Yeah, well, same thing, but yes, understood.
Yeah, and here's the, I like Curtis, but I think he's gotten kind of repetitive lately, and not even Portia and Curtis, just Curtis.
Just
That yeah, I don't know. Something wasn't really clicking with me this week, and that he keeps going over and over again about his integrity and this and that, and then oh yeah, Drew stopped by to give a little bribe, and I'm gonna go do something now.
yeah, no, understood. And then we have welcome backs today. Well, welcome back to Stella and welcome back to Drew because Drew has been gone for at least over a week. All right, Brandon, any welcome backs for you?
I'm gonna add Ned and Olivia.
Yep, Ned and Olivia who disappear on a regular basis. All right, and then as for next week, I look forward to seeing continuing the storyline with Marco in regards to Natalia. And then I also look forward to seeing what they're doing with Obrak because we did see that, as I mentioned before, that as I mentioned before, we did see that Rocco was writing a letter to Obrecht, and so I'd like to see how that kind of ends. All right, Brandon, what are you looking forward to for next week?
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that. If anything happens with that, I don't know why I think that would be a Thursday episode thing,
Yeah,
but I don't know. That just seems like where it would fit in. But I am excited to see that, um, and I'm intrigued to see what they do with Sasha and Jason. I mean, is Sasha really leaving for the time being? Like, is this a temporary, permanent? I'm not sure, and I don't want her to leave permanently by any means, but I think it might be longer than a short term situation, just because again, we've been seeing Daisy quite a bit, and I don't think we would see her as much if something positive was about to happen.
yeah, same here too. Unless they plan to kidnap her, meaning that Willow plans to kidnap her and hold her hostage somewhere. I don't, I don't know. I would think that Sasha could overpower her, but you never know. So, my two thoughts. All right, Brandon, anything else you'd like to discuss for this week?
So there's some people I would like to see return, or at least acknowledge, like within this next week or two.
Okay, and who's that?
First of all, Blaze. I mean, shouldn't she hopefully have been told about her mother? In my mind, I would assume that she would be at the very least stopping by, hug Marco, and then head back out. And my just assumption of how I think this dynamic should work.
All right, and who else do you have?
Whatever happened to TJ?
TJ is missing. He's at a medical conference.
Yeah, and and then of course, as we mentioned earlier about Charlotte, I mean, we made a whole big deal about bringing Charlotte home, and I think we saw her more when she was with Valentine off somewhere than we have with her actually being home.
Yep, that is very true. We have, and I do like Charlotte as a character, and I'm surprised because plays a mean character really well. So I'd love to see how they would do that if they kind of bring that part out of her.
Yeah, definitely. And I miss James as a character.
Yeah, everyone likes James, so yes, understood there. Is there anything else, Brandon?
No, for the most part, I think that is it. And something I've noticed about Drew within this week, now that we've seen him back, is that he feels more of a minor character than he does of a like the main antagonist. I mean, same with Ava too. Like it seems that we've sort of just shifted them to the back burner, but I guess now Sidwell is the big bad villain of this week.
Yeah, General Hospital goes back and forth with his villains, and so it looks like Drew has been taking a back seat. I don't know if they're trying to give a back seat so that the Willow storyline could come up a little clearer first in regards with the baby, and then Drew to come back in at a later time period. So that'll be interesting to see and to watch.
Yeah, definitely will.
All right. Well, we thank everybody for coming today, and please let us know in the comments who you think the performer of the week is. We'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yes, we definitely will.
All right. Have a great day, everybody,
Bye.
and we'll see you next time.